Joined with head men's and women's swimming coach Jon Lederhouse to talk about his team's second consecutive sweep at the CCIW Swimming and Diving Championships. Coach, first of all, just kind of your overall thoughts on your team's performance taking home both titles for the second straight year.
Well, our team did a really fine job of stepping up mentally and technically in their races. They all did really well-focused performances. We had some swims that were exceptionally fast. Kids were far ahead of what they'd ever been before. We had others who were right at their best times, but overall just real pleased with how well they raced in both prelims and finals every day.
Seemed like the times were particularly fast across the board. Your team swept, the men's side swept every event on Thursday. What did that do for your teams to push them forward through the weekend?
Yeah, that was certainly quite the motivational boost on Thursday for the guys to win every event and to win the relays by as much as they did. That was not expected, and so that was a real morale booster for our guys that did likewise, as you say, help carry the momentum through the rest of the weekend.
What were some of the unique things about this year's 2 wins as opposed to previous years?
Well, one unique factor for this year is it's the first time we were at a facility that was not a college facility. We were at a municipal site up in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. So we were at a municipal pool which had the advantage of providing adequate spectator space, adequate deck space, and it was a reasonably fast pool. So that was unique. First time everybody was swimming at a non-campus pool.
What was kind of the signature moment of the weekend for your teams?
Ooh, I don't know that there was a signature moment because the meet was never really in hand. Every single session our kids had to step up to the challenges that all the other swimmers in the conference were providing. So in that regard, there wasn't a signature moment. And it wasn't close enough that there was any one race where somebody exceeded expectations and that clinched the title. So it was a mentally tough meet because every single session they had to be on the ball, otherwise we would have fallen back on our point totals.
Will Francis earned CCIW Swimmer of the Meet for the second consecutive year. What did you see from his performance this week that maybe was a step up from last year's meet where he earned the same award?
Well, actually, his performances across the board were very good. He was actually a little bit faster in each one of his events, but none of the events were an unusual step up. We actually had 2 other guys who each won 3 events, and those other 2 guys actually had much bigger time drops from last year to this year comparatively than Will's did. However, Will's was responsible for significant relay leadoffs in every other relay. And while most people think of relay anchor as a big deal, unless you have a good person you can confidently put first, knowing they're going to be able to go as fast as possible in that leadoff position, in that regard, he was the most valuable guy member on the team.
You had several freshmen step up and even establish new meet records. What did you see from your freshmen that maybe surprised you or maybe even just met some expectations you had already set for them going in?
Well, we had a freshman guy, Will McCauley, who broke 3 varsity records in the 3 distance events, the 500 free, the 400 IM, and the 1650, and he exceeded his own personal records by significant amounts in each time. One of them, the 400 IM, was especially fun because he broke Tyler Doblbauer's old record by 3 seconds, but he broke 4 minutes, and that's an important barrier, so that was very exciting. He made national qualifying consideration in each of those. His 1650 record was 24 seconds faster than our record coming into this season. Previous record was a 16:13 and he went a 15:50, so that was a huge improvement, and again, breaking 16 minutes is a nice barrier in that 1650.
Leading into the event, did you think with your team's preparation going in that your team's performance met those expectations on what you thought by what you were seeing in the pool in the weeks leading up to this meet?
Well, actually, going into the contest, I had ranked out what the other team's swimmers' best times were compared to our best times, and thinking where they might put their swimmers for strategy or where we would put ours. And given the diving competitions the week before, I thought our men's contest would be extremely close with Rose Holman. I thought it might come down to the last relay, but our guys significantly outperformed that particular set of swimmers, so we gained a lot more points than I expected. On the women's side, we had a little more of a cushion going in. However, the first day, due to one of my clerical errors, we lost about 50 points on that. So the women actually, besides being down on diving, had to really struggle to pull back up on those points. So our women won by the amount I thought they would have won by, despite having lost an extra 50 points along the way. So they really did overachieve.
How does your team's performance, even some individual performance, set your team up looking ahead now to the NCAA Nationals?
So we had 17 kids make an NCAA consideration time either as an individual or on a relay. What we have to look at now this week is what were the results from last week and how do our kids rank nationally. We'll find that out as we look at rankings tomorrow. And then this coming weekend there are still some conferences that have to conclude their championships. So right now we've got basically everybody except Kirsty Nitz, I would say, is on the bubble where they might be in, they might be out, and we're not going to know for sure.